I'll now talk about some attitudes and identities related to English as an international language. We have already seen that native and non-native debate has been a part of applied linguistics and theoretical linguistics for a long time now. A study based on the opinions of English language learners concluded that non-native English-speaking teachers are more demanding and traditional as compared to their native-speaking counterparts who are more casual, talkative, and friendly. We could also see that the role of English as an international language is influenced by and also has a bearing on the attitudes and identities of its learners and professionals. We could also see that there is a strong interdependency between English as an international language and non-native English-speaking teachers because they get a lot of support and vigor from the norms of English as an international language, which are in the process of development. In this regard, Widdowson said that non-native English-speaking teachers and users can claim ownership of English language, but as far as professional treatment is concerned, many learners of English still consider native speakers as better teachers. This is one of the serious challenges confronting ELT and English as an international language these days. Cook, however, says that it's not about native or non-native, rather it is the professional skills and capacities of a teacher which make him a better teacher. He also says that non-native speakers might have an advantage of multilingualism which may be exploited properly in language classrooms. At the end, it comes down to the skills of an individual teacher and not on his race or native or non-native speaker, which makes him a better teacher. Let's have an overview of some of the common perceptions and attitudes among L2 users regarding English as an international language. We could see that most of these users, as I mentioned briefly earlier, they would prefer native or standard accents and their users instead of non-native or those accents which are spoken in the outer circle or in expanding circle. Learners of English from distant contexts as Hong Kong, Italy, showed a preference for received pronunciation which belongs to Great Britain over their local accents. A similar study by Dalton also came to the same conclusion. We also see that many competent non-native speakers identify themselves with native speakers rather than their non-native speakers, which may be culturally closer to them. Thus, they are adopting a rather strict and derogatory attitude towards their fellow non-native speakers. The studies have shown us that those people who have an extended exposure to English language in native settings, they also prefer speaking in a foreign or native accent as compared to their own accent. Let's have a look at the implications of such attitude within ELT classrooms. The studies in this regard inform us that teachers constantly inform and advise their young students to imitate and follow native accent as compared to local accents, which reinforces the point regarding the superiority of native accents. Similarly, we could see that there is a serious dearth of the material in these classrooms which lack the cultural materials related to UK and USA. So those materials are deliberately introduced in such classrooms which are related to the values and norms of the natives. Let's have a look on the attitudes of English language teachers now. We could see that non-native English-speaking teachers, they themselves either explicitly or implicitly accepted the native speakers as a source of authority. This comes from few reliable studies. They had to solicit their views from fellow teachers as a signal that they didn't consider their own words final. This reflects that they are never confident about what they speak and how they use English language. So they have to seek a confirmation from their fellow teachers. In comparison, if we have a look at native English-speaking teachers' attitude, we see that they often identify themselves on the network as native speakers, as if to stress that this is the source of their authority. Their native status is actually the source of their superiority, which they keep on pressing and realizing through their ELT careers. We could also see that attitude towards different varieties of English may also depend on their level of intelligibility in various spheres of communication. Similarly, we could see that such levels of intelligibility may affect the acceptance of such varieties in various spheres of professional users of a language. Another problem confronting this debate of English as an international language and its use in teaching is related to the attitude of English language teachers and their confidence while using and teaching this language. The studies have clearly indicated that non-native English-speaking teachers suffer from a lack of confidence while teaching a language. They always feel that they have never mastered it. And this fear is sometimes, resulted in some kind of sport for native speakers, because they seek that confirmation from native speakers, and in this way they indirectly show a kind of self-hatred. Such attitudes do have implications for English as an international language teaching, as well as the identities and classroom practices of the teachers and learners of English as an international language.